Well, it's the big story of the day, perhaps the big story of the hour, heck, perhaps the big story of the year. Just minutes ago, we got word that President Trump will be going out on patrol with D.C. law enforcement and the National Guard tonight. According to officials, this will take place later this evening. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Michael Letts, founder and president and CEO of Invest USA, who yet again joins us right here on the Live Zone. Michael, I know this was last minute. Truly appreciate you making yourself available to join us for this monumental story.
Well, it is monumental. You know, this is the first time in history this has ever occurred with the president. And I'm sure we've got the right one to do it because obviously his program on making sure we have cracking down on crime and making D.C. safe, as you and I have talked about before, this is the first step of much to come across this country. This is the first city that we're targeting, and you're going to see more of this, and he's guaranteeing that we're doing the right thing. We're making sure the citizens feel comfortable. There was some concern. Of course, I told you I rejected what they were saying. I didn't think they were being truthful, that residents were not wanting to go out to participate in going out to dinner because they were scared of National Guard presidents. That's the worst. That's just bogus. Everybody feels more comfortable when there's more law enforcement, when there's more security around. We're seeing the numbers work. We're seeing more and more arrests. I did over 50 again last night. And quite frankly, this is what it's all about, America. Feeling that you can go and enjoy your town, your country, your state without the fear of being victimized by crime.
So, Michael, let's break all of this down because I'm sitting here trying to fathom the logistics, if you will, how all of this will play out. I have taken part in a ride-along before, and obviously you sit inside of a police car. You being former law enforcement, I'm pretty sure you know this oh so well. But we're talking about the most powerful man on the planet. How do you suspect this will all be rolled out later this evening?
Well, you see me chugging a little bit. It'll be a little bit different than normal. First of all, I'd love to have, if I were there, I'd love to have the president riding with me. But understand his detail and his motorcade has to be armor-proof, and patrol cars are not. So he will still be in an armored vehicle that will provide him the protection that he needs. He'll have law enforcement present with him, local law enforcement present with him, so they can provide the local flavor. Plus, I'm sure they will be in a what we call a pattern or follow pattern as they go and roll up on various scenes. The president, it will be a debate between him and Secret Service whether they let him out to actually go up and see what's going on. But trust me, it will be the safest place to be in the universe at this particular time when that occurs this evening.
Yet again, we have seen numerous checkpoints throughout Washington, D.C. over the past couple of days. Overall, some 630 arrests now have taken place since the surge began. I would suspect that that's what he'll be taking part in, and that is a checkpoint of some sort. I just can't yet again fathom and or imagine the president, let's say, trailing a motorcade that happens to perhaps pull someone over randomly, at random. And then
you would be... It'll be interesting to see because one thing I've learned about this president, he does the unconventional. And, you know, depending on the nature of the stop and whether it's been secured or not, may depend on whether he rolls up to see what's going on afterwards.
So, Michael, you and I both are chuckling. It's just never in a million years that I think I would be discussing this live on air. And yet again, I would suspect that the media, there will be cameras plentiful there as well. I guess what I'm trying to get across is how will this work? I mean, I would know, one, that there's a checkpoint up there because I'm pretty sure a helicopter is going to be flying above. I'm pretty sure you're going to see cameras from a mile or two away. And so do you really think that ultimately this is something that should be done and something that will be effective?
Well, let's take two of the words you said. Will it be effective? I don't think it will add anything to the reduction of crime. But is it something worthwhile? Does it highlight what's going on so that people understand and people feel more comfortable? Yes, I do believe it will achieve that objective. Do I think it will actually cause it to be a tad bit safer for the hour or two that he's out there? That's probably stretching it a little bit, Guy. But, you know, the fact that he shows his willingness, this is what American people love. He's willing to take off that jacket, throw that tie aside, roll up those sleeves, and get in and do exactly what every other citizen or whatever other person would be able to do That's where America knows he can relate, and he wants to feel exactly what you and I are feeling, see it firsthand. That's what gives him the popularity that he has.
Michael, as you and I spoke about earlier this week, according to a recently released Washington Post poll, the majority of D.C. residents are not happy with the federal surge per se. With that being said, I'm hoping you could speak to the morale of the officers and or the National Guard, now knowing that, hey, right beside me, that's the President of the United States. Wouldn't that bring about a different change to one's persona, if you will?
Oh, there's no question. Let me tell you what we've endured for the last 4.5, 5 years. We've endured scourge, scorn, people thinking, what are you doing? We don't want cops in around here anyway. Then, of course, the results occurred. Violence rose, burglaries, robberies, rapes, etc. People suddenly realized, whoop, we made a big mistake. But the cops on the street felt like, if you feel that way about me, why am I doing the job? Why am I risking my life when nobody cares? When you suddenly have the President of the United States stepping out and say, I care, and I'm willing to go out with you on patrol to see what it's like. Boy, that just put a shot of adrenaline in their veins that's going to last for years to come.
Yeah. Yet again, if you're just joining us, we got word earlier that President Trump tonight will take part on a ride-along, if you will, along with the Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guard. Obviously, we do not know the time as yet. I suspect, Michael, that will not be put forth. Yet again, need to make sure that the president's safety is of the utmost responsibility of all officials to put him in place so that he is not in harm's way. Yet again, I'm just sitting here thinking about how this will all play out. Tomorrow, after all of this is said and done, I would suspect that the president would yet again hop in front of the cameras and talk about how this is really rolling out and how, well, yet again, he too took part in this and is showing that he truly cares.
And you're exactly right. It just shows his mindset that he really cares about making sure that you and I are safe, making sure our first responders have a sense of purpose and a sense of accomplishment for what they do. Because when we stop and think about it for a second, Guy, who else is willing to put their lives on the line every day for little pay, for little appreciation, just because they love the community? We need to get back to recognizing that. And the president is doing that by being hands-on. I commend him for it. I only wish I was there to ride along with him. But you never can tell. You might see that coming up shortly as well.
So I playing devil's advocate here, and I have to ask. Obviously, yesterday we saw Vice President J.D. Vance flanked by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at Union Station right here in the nation's capital. While speaking and or meeting and greeting with National Guard troops, obviously in the background, you could clearly hear a number of protesters expressing their outrage with regard to the federal surge. If that takes place tonight, and perhaps it will, what do you think, and how should the president respond to that, and would it affect him at all?
It won't affect him in the least. He's used to it by now because there are a segment that are determined to criticize and shoot down anything positive that this president is doing. And so he's used to it. I fully expect you'll see that tonight, but I also fully expect you'll see his resolve. We're going to do what the right thing is to protect our citizens. The Constitution demands it. It guarantees it. This president is determined to live up to it, and that's where the difference is.
And yet again, we will all see it unfold right before our eyes tonight, right here in the nation's capital. We have been joined by Mr. Michael Letts, founder and president and CEO of Invest USA. Michael, real quick, you want to plug the company?
Well, just make sure if you can go to our website, investusa.org. Let's make sure every one of these cops has an active shooter vest so they can come home to their little ones as well. They deserve the right to be able to do that. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you, Guy, for supporting our first responders.
You bet. Yet again, Mr. Michael Letts joining us on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.